Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everybody. I'm your host, Nicole, and I'm very excited to be here with you today talking about, I'm kind of making a little mashup here of topics because I want to talk about human design, I want to talk about money, I want to talk about manifestation, and I want to talk about your business and strategy. And I want to talk about how they are all connected, how you can honestly roll all of this up into human design. And I know that a lot of people have this question where they're kind of like, well, how can I use human design to my advantage? I teach human design for business. I specifically work mostly with entrepreneurs. That's what my focus is. So this is like my world. This is what I live and breathe. And people can get confused because they want to separate these things. And I think what's so interesting about human design is that if you're working with your design, a lot of this stuff, or if you're working with it, I should say the way that I work with it, which is with deconditioning really high up on the list of things that we focus on, that if you're doing the work in human design, then a lot of this other stuff will start to take care of itself. A lot of your problems are going to go away. So in this episode, I'm going to break down how money programs work and just kind of the mindset around that, and how manifestation and business strategy all kind of come together, how human design brings them all together, and how I look at them from a really holistic point of view, rather than feeling like, because I think what we do a lot of times is we'll start to piece these out where we will focus on our money mindset, and then we'll take a manifestation course, and then we'll get business strategy. And we have all of these different ways, rather than looking at it and saying, actually, it all rolls up into one thing. So, and human design can help us bring all of that together. And it doesn't feel crazy. It feels like, oh, it actually gives us a process to make it feel simpler. So I want to break all of that down for you today in today's episode, okay? Before I do, I want to call out that we are hosting the Authority Accelerator Masterclass. This is my 5-day free masterclass that I am teaching. I haven't taught it since 2024, and I have rewritten a lot of the content since we did it last year. I'm always revisiting this stuff. Guys, I'm a manifesting generator. If I do something too often the same way, I will get bored. I am always evolving. I am always changing. And I always bring you the latest of the way that I'm reflecting on something, or the latest way that I'm teaching it. So this will be different. I was saying someone the other day, I'm like, I do these like mini rewrites sometimes to it. And then about every other one, I kind of rewrite the whole thing and really revisit it from scratch. This is one of those I revisited it from scratch. I really came at it from a different perspective and tore the whole thing apart. So if you've taken it before, if you've been with us before, come to this one, because you might very well get something very different out of this one. You might, if that clicked for you, this might really drive some points home for you. So I'm super excited about it. Yes, replays are available. As always replays available, unless I say there are no replays for this thing. But there are replays. You'll have access to all of that. We'll email you lots of times to let you know about how you can access those replays. And like I said, it's totally free. All you have to do to register is go over to Instagram, DM me the word masterclass, and we'll register you right there in the DMs. Or if you prefer to go to the website, you could do that. You could go to nicolelano.com/masterclass, and you can register right there on the page. And all done. Super simple. Okay, let's dive into the episode, shall we? So let's talk about what all of these modalities have in common. Money mindset, manifestation, business strategy. I'm throwing in something else that we tend to invest in, right? We invest in all of these things. Networking, I would put kind of as like a subcategory of business strategy, because that's like the masterminds and things that we do because we want to make these connections, right? So what do all of these modalities, all of these things have in common? They have one thing in common, all of them. And it's your energy determines the level of success that you have with it. It's you. You are the common denominator. You are the operator of all of these things. Your money mindset comes from your past. It comes from the way you think. It comes from what's in your body as far as a money program that you have, right? So let's talk about, I'm going to break each one of these down. I can't say that I'm going to be super linear where it's going to be like one thing, two things, three things, and they're going to be totally siloed. They are interconnected, so I'm probably going to speak about them. I'm going to talk about one and another piece is going to come into it because that's how this works. If you try to make it where it's like we're only going to work on this thing, then you're probably missing something. Then you're probably going to have a problem somewhere along the line where you're going to have to go back to one of the other pieces of this little framework, the rest of this model that we have going on here, right? So, but I'm going to do my best for simplicity's sake and to make this easy for you to follow, because I do try to make these podcast episodes simple enough that you can follow along and you're like, I get what she's talking about. I get that point. I work hard at trying to make this really impactful for everybody. So this should be no exception. So let's talk about money and the pursuit of money. Most of the time when I ask people what their desires are, they tell me that they want to be financially free. That's usually at the top of their list. I want to make this amount of money. And we're in business. Like I work with business people. So it's normal for that to be the number one desire on people's lists, right? I want to make money. You should want to make money in your business. If you don't, then that's something that you want to look at right away and say, why don't I want money? What am I doing this for if I don't want it to be successful materially? Because why would we work if there isn't some reward, right? Even though I love the work that I do, I wouldn't do it quite like I do it. I wouldn't be selling. I'd be talking about lots of different things, So if you're doing it to be successful, then you want it to be successful, right? That's the desire. And when we approach how can I make more money, we tend to go to strategy to help us with this. We tend to say like, okay, what tangible, tactical thing do I need in order to make money come to me? So I'm going to hire a funnel expert, or I'm going to hire a copywriter to get me the people who are going to be attracted to my website and I can explain what I do in different ways. There can be lots of ways with strategy that we go and we try to get money. I'm going to do this thing and then I'll get the money. Now, Jim Fortin is where I first heard this from, but I've heard it from lots of people since. So I don't know where the originator is, but I'll tell you, Jim Fortin is where I heard this first from. So I'm going to give him the credit for this. That the framework is not to do it and then get it. It's not, I think we think we're going to do the thing and then we're going to have the money and then we're going to be happy. Do, have, be is the model that most of us are working under. But what he taught me was that no, it's be, do, have. When you're being the wealthy version of yourself, when you're energetically there, then you will be able to do the things that you want, and then you will have what it is that you've been going after. So you'll have the money after you're being who you are meant to be. You're being the person who has the money, then you will get the money. You'll be able to do the things that those wealthy people do, and then you will have the money. And we often reverse this because that is the way to come at it from a more 3D standpoint, is to say, well, I got to do all of this stuff. I got to do all of this stuff. And then what happens? We aren't able to do the things that we want to do. And this is where that strategy piece, we tend to put that way up front when we start our businesses. Okay, what strategy do I need? But I'm guessing if you listen to this show and you're interested in human design, that hasn't worked for you consistently, right? You haven't been able to get strategy where you've been able to operate that strategy cleanly over and over and over again and just have wild success with it. And there's two reasons for that. One, it can be that you're not ready to operate that strategy at the level that it needs to be operated to get the result that you want. Or sometimes it's just that you've used it for a while and then the world changes and you have to change the strategy and you're not in a place where you can adapt, right? So then what do we do when we have trouble with money and strategy isn't working? Then a lot of times we go and we're like, I gotta have money mindset issues. And I have a lot of people that come to me with money mindset issues. I had them too. But the old way to deal with that is to go straight to the brain. Mindset. That's where I started. I am an NLP practitioner, which is neuro-linguistic programming. It's the way we talk to ourselves. It's the way our brains process information. It's how it stores it. And it's the practice of being able to undo some of that damage by rewiring our brain. That's what, NLP is kind of famous for. And shifting, reframing, that is an NLP technique that people are usually pretty familiar with. So mindset is the old way. I believe in NLP. And I believe that that is work that does work, but it's not everything. It's the old way. The old way is to go straight to the brain. And that's why a lot of people stay stuck with money mindset. Here's what I love about human design. We take the power away from the mind altogether. Altogether. It starts with thoughts. I don't want to say that I don't ever deal with thoughts. Of course we do. That's the conscious choices that we can be making throughout the day. I stop my clients all the time when I when I catch them saying things like, I can't do this, and they give me excuse after excuse or something. I call them out on that. I'm like, first of all, I want to change your language, and I want you to hear the way that you are messaging this to yourself. The way that you are thinking about this. You've already put a roadblock in front of you and you've kind of decided that this isn't going to work. And if you've decided that, then you're going to have a really hard uphill battle. So let's change that right off the bat. But then we always want to go a level deeper. We want to get into the emotions of why you feel the way that you feel. Now, this is where we can start to, human design is teaching us to do this all the time. Human design, first of all, the way that I teach it with EFT, which is tapping, emotional freedom technique is tapping. The way that I teach it is I decondition, because mindset is the old way. Deconditioning is the new way, is to decondition yourself. You're not just rewriting your thoughts. We are processing the trauma and the emotion that you have not processed throughout your life, which is causing the problems that you're experiencing. Now, I'm still talking about money, but I'm going to throw in manifestation here, because a lot of us will then take energy courses and clearings and doing all this stuff and take a manifestation course, all valid. But the manifestation course, what's it doing? How we manifest is with our feelings. So human design gives me this beautiful map where I can look at people and I can see where they might be holding stuff that doesn't serve them. It gives us places to dig. It gives us places to say, I think that this is maybe where you're stuck. So emotional authorities, they're battling their wave all the time. So they just have to learn to clear their emotions and work with their emotions in a different way, or they're going to be tossed by the waves constantly. So it gives me a framework for understanding what their problem may be. What I see with emotional authorities in particular, they have these cycles of just like insanity. It starts off with that. It's an emotional frequency that is unstable and it's not one that they're choosing. And that is going to mess with their level of being able to manifest what they want. They're going to manifest a lot of chaos into their lives because of the emotional frequency that they are in. So we have to take care of that. And we do that with the way that I decondition people and the way that I approach that work. Because it isn't about answering questions with human design like people think it is. It's not like that with, I think that we think that with manifestation. If somebody just told me how to do the thing, then I would be wealthy beyond my wildest dreams. No, it's a practice of being able to emotionally and energetically connect with what you want versus connecting with what you don't want, which is usually our default. Worry, anger, fear, all of that stuff. And human design can tell us where we might have fear and what that fear might be. There's something beautiful that happens when you start to notice that too, is it starts to dissolve a bit when I say, well, you have these fears that are consistent for you. Do you notice these coming up? Yes. Okay. Now I have tools that I'll take people through of, here's how I want you to overcome these fears. I'd like you to tap on this. I'd like you to do this breath work. I have tools that I've created specifically to overcome certain things. And with the chart, I can use it as a map to find out which tools do you really need. I start to notice your behavior, and then I can direct you through the chart and through seeing what you're doing to the right thing. So we're coming in with a scalpel, and we're able to start to really hone in on what the root cause of the problem is. Because what happens is when we're trying to manifest something really, really great, really amazing in our life, but we have so much fear, or we are so afraid of something, we're protecting ourselves. We're actually protecting ourselves from the thing that we want. So we have to go into the thing that scares us. And that's a process. And when you're in the human design process, that's daily life. You start to notice your behavior in a different way. And what I think is the beautiful thing about this, I want to also just say that your frequency, your vibration, your vibe, your energy is confidence, right? If you are in just like, I've got this energy is what I call it. I've got this energy is just such unshakable confidence. And that comes from having no other frequency like fear, like anger, like frustration, like all of those not self themes that we have, bitterness. Those are going to be the big ones based on your type. To not have those frequencies coming in to hijack the work that you're doing on the outside world. They are operating underneath, and they will make you feel less confident. They will make you feel ungrounded. You will not be unshakable. The circumstances of your life will start to pull you in directions not of your choosing, and you'll wonder why things aren't working. I'm doing all the things, but none of it's working. But when you believe in yourself and your worthiness, that's when you raise your frequency. That's magnetism. When we talk about magnetism with human design, it's because we are systematically clearing your frequency of anything that doesn't belong there, anything that's not serving, clearing that trauma, and you are usually not judging yourself. I always say that human design, I think, is the greatest tool for learning how to love the shit out of yourself. Unapologetically. And loving yourself for who you truly are, right? Because you can so clearly see and feel what your actual worth is and what you're here for. Not what the world told you to value, and then seeing and thinking about how you feel you measure up to those standards. That's the old way. I see it time and time again with my clients that when they start to dig into their chart and they get really curious about their stuff, a lot of times it starts out with people looking at the chart and being like, I wish I had this. I wish I didn't have that. This sucks. And then over time, as they start to learn how to work with it, they're like, oh no, that's me. I think a beautiful thing about that is to see that your shadows are gifts in disguise. Your shadows are gifts in disguise. And if you learn to work with them, you can learn to hang out in your gifts far more than you do your shadows. And when you do that, you will be able to manifest. Because manifestation really is just being so energetically aligned with what you want that you're able to take action as well to meet the universe halfway. That great things start happening to you. Quantum leaps that everybody talks about, they are a result of energetic alignment towards something, which is just such unshakable belief that what you want is yours already. That then nothing in the physical world gets in your way of pursuing that. Then I want you to think about this. Think about anything that you've held back on. A podcast, launching a podcast, or putting out posts on social media, launching anything that you have on your list that you want to do that sometimes you have trouble doing. Recognize that some of that is either the fear of success that you have. If I write the book, maybe I'm really going to make it big. And there's part of you that's not ready for that. Or the other side of this is that you are so afraid that it won't work that you protect yourself. If you had such unshakable belief where you were not afraid of the success, that you had expanded yourself enough to be able to welcome in that level of success, or you cleared out all the fears and all of the energy in you that is keeping you from taking action, then you would be able to move without problem in the direction of your dreams. This is what human design trains you to do. It trains you to, one, let your dreams really be yours. You'll notice you'll stop caring about some things as much as you did before. You might have other things that you choose that feel right, and you're going to have other opportunities start to come to you. But it also just allows you, without judgment, to curiously look at yourself, to know what to look out for. What are the gremlins hiding in your closet? And how do you look out for those? And it gives you tools. The way that I teach it, I give you really deep tools so that they don't come back. So I'm partial to the way that I approach this work and the deconditioning work, because it's both clearing out all of your old stuff and expanding you to take on more, to receive more. So when you sign up for that mastermind or you go to that event, that you walk in like you own the place. Like everybody there is lucky to talk to you. That is power. And that is all what I'm going to be teaching in the Authority Accelerator. I'm going to break down the whole process of how you blend energy, human design, and strategy. Deconditioning is going to be much more front and center in this Authority Accelerator, because it's what gets people results. And I need y'all to hear it. So you're going to hear me kind of break this down in a different way. I'm going to take you through my process of how I get people results inside my Business by Design mentorship, with the work that I do with my private clients, all the people that I work with. How do we get results with human design? What does that really look like? And we actually have some really exciting new ways to work with me. There's so much that's going to happen. So if you want to come to that masterclass and learn all of this, all you have to do to register is go to Instagram. I'm at Nicole Official. If you don't know already, please follow me. And come over, send me a DM just with the word masterclass, and we'll register you right there in the DMs. You don't even have to go to another link. But if you prefer the website, you could do that too. NicoleLano.com/masterclass. Register you right there on the site and you'll be good to go. You get some emails from us, all that stuff. We'll be reminding you of when everything is. And you even get invited to some calls and things like that with me. It's going to be really fun. I hope to see you there. It is the most value-packed thing that we do here for free outside of this show. So I would be very excited if you joined us. Remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you become unshakable with human design, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye. If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to NicoleLano.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.